Hello everyone. After a short break, we continue our videos from where we left off. Today you will watch my analyses specific to Bitcoin and XRP. I will also examine Tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Now here friends, we had a downtrend structure in Bitcoin and we talked about this downtrend many times. We see that the price movements here have declined many times from the trend. And here, providing permanence, supported the price movement upwards. I expect this movement, of course, but I think it is a very simple long for prices to rise very sharply from here again. And after such a simple long, I think there is a high probability that prices will come to these regions again. Because it is not so easy to buy long, trend breaks always need to be confirmed in the market. An unconfirmed trend may be inclined to fall again, much harder. When I look at this upward movement here with Elliott Wave, I see a movement in the following style, and we can see this in the continuity of the movement here. In short, I would like to say that in the short term, the bullish movement here for us can create a potential to push the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave in this way. But it can also create the ABC correction structure here, and you can actually see that we are in the last movement here. These have targets. The level required for the potential 3 to work here is clearly a 6 upward movement. The arrival of 4 here can also show a re-major business movement with a 5 up target. But in the case of C, if the price moves with this character, the rejection of the price from these sections, I1 and 1 to 13 regions, may occur. Therefore, the levels I am actually waiting for here are exactly this level for C and exactly these levels for 3. Friends, I can enlarge the prices a little more for you to see. Now the first place of resistance that we can realize in this structure is exactly this region. If we see a downward movement in Bitcoin from here, the character of our new movement will probably be this way. And if we see the big business movement here, I think that although our character is an ABC decline in the same way, the bullish movement at the end creates a binary quintet wave again, and the levels that are important here are the levels that we can use for correction levels between 86,000 and 88,000. These regions will be the first correction places, and new rises can start after that. If it comes to 105.109 thousand regions, I think that almost these regions can support us. For the fourth wave, that is, there are two variations that may occur here, and the fact that this movement here is rising very sharply should not put us in the FOMO effect, because these bullish movements are not just a rise that started from here, but a rise that started exactly from here, which shows us that Bitcoin is currently up 27% in total. This movement can cause a 40% movement if a high movement price comes up and will be exposed to declines here again. Now, after building our main scenario on this, I would like to finish my analysis on Bitcoin and move on to XRP. Look, there is a place I have used in XRP, and this is a place that needs to be pierced for us on a weekly basis. With this closing above the closures, I think XRP will be able to show a positive result for us from now on. And when we look at it from the daily, the falling trend here is now much more important for us, friends. The fact that the middle band cannot be support does not exactly have a clear theme. Look, you see, I think this movement of the price here can rise harder and make a rise up to $2.70, XRP. This rise can move upward from the upper banks of the channel with a new rise that will retest and follow after the volatility there. So these sections should be examined well. The retest here may come to the middle band again. It should provide permanence here so that you can make the price upward movements more easily. But if it cannot provide permanence here, the price starts a new downward movement. We are in very critical regions. I would like to draw the important levels for you. First of all, this section is a good support point for us. First of all, this section is a good support point for us. First of all, this section is a good support point for us. First of all, this section is a good support point for us. Firstly, that section is a good support point for us. Secondly, The support point for us is 195s. If we do not see a high, sharp, volatile rise in price, after this point, we can start a horizontality period in value prices again, so we can go through a phase in this way. It is also normal for this to occur, but with the end of this, prices attack the upward direction very sharply. Our region that can work as our resistance is currently 2.68 cent and 2.63 cent band range in XRP. That corresponds to the levels here for us. You can see the resistances here. So I think these sections will work as resistance for us. I still think that long liquidations in Bitcoin are not taken. So it's not a good thing to think of every exit as a new bull. Look, after this very sharp rise here, prices went down again. People who bought XRP here made a big loss. You need to be careful. In this section, friends, we can talk about such a movement in prices, then a decline and preparation for a new rise. That's all my XRP analysis for now, and I will look at the dominance. There was a big level for me in the dominance. That is 64.5 resistance, coming to 64.5 seconds and showing a movement like this. It shows us that altcoins will rise a little more in the coming hours, and the places that will work as support are currently the 63.72 region. As long as the price movement here is not broken, rises may occur again. We saw a nice scenario where our 64.5 resistance worked, and the next movements, the breaking of this trend, more trend, I think money can enter the lower sheep even more. This is not Marezi to return. We can see a little more upward movements, a little more horizontal prices here. I want to look at the theta dominance, and there is a big decline in the theta dominance, and the movement here was important for us. We said that with the break of this trend on a daily basis, a downward price movement comes, and 480 will be our target. The only condition for this was that this line here should not be crossed. That is, the 580s and 570s should not be crossed. Therefore, there is a decline here that will have a positive effect on Bitcoin. We can see here that Bitcoin still has a path. And after the section here, we will see a new search for support. Some more rises in Bitcoin may occur. And with this turn here, we can experience new declines in Bitcoin. Thank you all so much for listening to me so far. I recommend you to subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourself very well. Have a good day.